Greetings, my friends. Greetings, my friends. Welcome to the Let's Get Gritty podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. I'm super thrilled to be here with each of you. I hope that you have had a blast this week. I know many of us are enjoying the fact that school is out. School is out. The kids are home and they're waking up at 2 p.m. It's been great. So with that, the Let's Get Gritty podcast with Dr. India White will be featured on Spotify and social media platforms. And if you're wanting to be a guest on this podcast, please make sure you reach out to me. I have a form on my website that you can also get. My website is www.india-white.com. You can go to that website also to find the form to be a guest. And of course, we'll have to go through the process and ensure that you can be featured on the show. So I also wanted to remind you guys to contact me whenever you get a chance. If you're wanting to schedule me for an event, or if you're wanting to look at some blogs on my website or look at some books, especially the Grit Workbook really has been going to many of you, helping many of your schools, many of your families. So check that out at www.india-white.com. I also wanted to remind you to follow me when you get a chance. Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube is India White 123, and TikTok is Dr. India White. And thanks to all of you for your following, for always being so supportive. I mean, this has been such a great season of support. I'm so thankful. Yes, I have celebrated a birthday this week, and you guys have been beautiful. Even in that little thing with gestures and DMing me happy birthday, especially on LinkedIn. I've had hundreds to where, my messages are now buried under happy birthdays, which has been really neat going through every single one of those. And if I did not get to yours, I promise I will get to it. I also wanted to remind you guys of some upcoming events. I know we've got North Dakota around the corner next week. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. A speaker at FCTM. At Camp, I'll be a featured speaker. In July at NCSM, I'll be a major speaker. NCTM, I'll just be there supporting, doing a little bit here and there. At ICTM, a featured keynote speaker. And there are other opportunities where you guys have asked me to come on board, and I want to say thank you. I also want to let you know that I am getting your messages for those that are asking me to come to your schools and to work with you. I am getting those. I do see you. I am getting to those. I'm responding, and I'm wiggling you in wherever I can. So if you're interested in having me come out to your school, maybe you heard me speak at a conference or whatnot, and you're planning for the new year, doing your jumpstart back or whatever you're doing, I'm here for you. So thank you again for the opportunities. I also wanted to remind you guys, if you're looking for some opportunities regarding like a workshop, whatever, I do have the Grit mini workshop on the Grassroots Workshops website that you can check out. It's called How to Harness Grit to Help Students Thrive. Check that out. Thank you, Robert, and the team for that opportunity. So, you could take that back to your team leads and let them know, and you guys can talk about it and see what the best options are for you. So with that said, we are in the summertime. This is a time for us to debrief and to figure out what we're wanting. And so I spoke about this a little bit on my other podcast, the Grit and Equity Talks podcast, but I'm going to speak again today about overcoming trauma through grit. And I really want my audience to be like teachers, parents, and whatnot. And I want to talk about this because it's a lot of work to go through a school year. Just all of the running that you have to do, the hustle and the bustling, and making connections, making it to school on time, meeting deadlines throughout the school year, going to sporting events, going to community events. And it seems like it's just so much. And then the summer comes, you get a little bit of time to breathe, and then you're just in a couple of months, you're preparing right back for all of it. And it can be overwhelming. But with that, trauma is definitely inevitable for many of us because it's just a part of being in life, being in particular environments. Some of us are working in schools that are more traumatic than others. And it will call for us to have to learn how to overcome trauma through grit. So I want to talk about what grit is. Again, grit is having the passion and perseverance to obtain a long-term goal. Thank you, Dr. Angela Duckworth, for that. Now, how do you overcome it? I did give you an acronym, Great Resilience in Time. And so I want to now talk with you about what I found on the web for us, just to talk about what people are saying with how to overcome, trauma in general, how to develop resilience and things like that. So just about developing resilience and grit to overcome life's challenges. Okay. And so this is written by Sanju. And so it's a pretty hefty article. So I'll go through this. So first things first, it talks about what is resilience. Resilience is your ability to bounce back after a stressful event. Yes, school can be stressful. Life can be stressful. So, and it says it's not just about surviving difficult times, but it's also about thriving in them. And many of you have been able to thrive in school environments, whereas, others of us, it's like, okay, well, we might need a little bit of a break to see how we're going to bounce back from all of this. Now, it says here, resilient people don't dwell on past mistakes or try to control the future. They accept things the way or as they are, stay present with their feelings and actions, and move forward with hope and faith. They are generally optimistic, positive, and proactive. Again, they are generally optimistic, positive, and proactive. And, it's so tempting to be critical and negative and, just see all of the issues and just never have an end to it. I mean, people can write books on the things that they critique, right? But instead, I think it's better that we focus on how can we drive out negative energies and continue to move forward through grit. If you're the type that's like, you just are obsessed with the critical element. I understand that that's something that I spoke about this one time on my show. People that love to be critical, but I just want to challenge each of us in those moments where, we just have something up our craw, or we just can't shake something. I don't know. I just want to encourage each of us to really look at the big picture and to remain optimistic, because I'm telling you, that is how we've been able to drive the needle forward, is by having a good attitude and a great outlook on life and a great outlook on opportunities that have been afforded to us. So let's continue to move forward in that positive vein. Now they're talking about what is grit. So he's pushing this rock. And so grit is passion. We just this, right? And it's perseverance toward a goal. It's a personality trait. And it's not just about having the will to succeed, it's also about having the inner resources to persevere when things get tough. Every single person needs grit, no matter their background, no matter their socioeconomic status. Every person needs grit. Research is starting to show that. And so this is a wonderful part here where it says a person with high levels of grit can accomplish amazing things, even when the odds stack against them or when an obstacle appears. And so that's pretty neat. I'll keep scrolling down because this is going to keep talking to us about grit. It talks about the benefits now of developing resilience and grit. And it says, developing Developing resilience and grit can help you get through difficult times. When you're resilient, you're able to pick yourself back up after a setback and keep going. You're flexible and you're able to adapt to change. Grit is similar, but it's more like stamina. About stamina, that's a huge word, right? So it's your ability to persist through difficult challenges and to keep going no matter what. And that's the thing, is helping students, or even as a leader yourself, having that stamina to say, I'm going to keep pushing forward no matter what, no matter how tired, no matter whatever. Like, I'm going to continue to move forward. That's like what we need more than ever. And then I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And so it's talking about now making a plan to stay resilient and gritty. Absolutely. I love this. All right. So making a plan to stay resilient and gritty. It says it's one thing to understand the benefits of developing resilience and grit, but it's another to actually put that knowledge into practice. One way is to make a plan. That's it. And to stay resilient and gritty, create a list of things you can do in moments of difficulty or stress. Plan to work out. You're trying to build muscle mass. There's just different things that you can do. You can say, okay, how much can I lift at this time? I mean, if you're like me, you can lift 5 pounds, maybe 10 pounds. So then what you can say is, okay, what am I going to do to build that resiliency, that, that muscle mass, and to continue to build my muscles. And so then you can put yourself on a plan, or you can hire a personal trainer who will put you on a plan. But I think the powerful part about grit is it gives you a starting place, and you're not just spinning your wheels in vain, but like, that you're actually moving forward now. So that's a really cool thing that you can do, is you can actually put a plan in place and make sense of all of this. So when you're talking about having that, resilience, and you're wanting to be gritty, it's a continuation of action. You have to continue to move forward, right? All right. Well, when feeling unmotivated, start your day with some light physical activity, like walking around your block. Make sure you're safe out there. And then it says, before stressful situations, practice some calming breathing exercises to launch yourself into the day with focus. And when you're overwhelmed by setbacks, turn to your support system for a listening ear and advice. It's huge. We're not in this ourselves. We need to make sure we have our tribe. I'm thankful for those that are in my tribe, especially in the math space. It's been wonderful getting to know many of you amazing rock stars around this nation. Now, let's keep going. So it says, by having your own go-to strategies for difficult moments. So let me pause there. What are your go-to moments for difficult strategies? What do you do for difficult moments? So that's something that we all need to think about, and, just table it and say, okay, I need to think about that. But anyway, it says you can develop grit and resilience, even if it is hard at first. Exercise these tools, the easier it will become over time. So now they've given us some tips. So it says developing resilience and grit is all about making a commitment to growth. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Here's some steps to get you started. Believe in yourself. That's the first thing. Building resilience and grit starts with believing in yourself, believing in your ability to grow and change. When you're feeling down and struggling, remind yourself that you're capable of overcoming any obstacle. I want to encourage each of you. Sometimes it's easy to hold your head down and not believe in yourself, and to lack confidence and feel like, oh, someone over there across the street, they're doing this and that, and I'm only doing this. We the comparison game. We're our worst critic. We think of past mistakes from like 10 years ago, things that have had us bound and hostage. And it just makes it just tough for us to know our self-worth. Other people really can have an effect on your mental health. And that's why I definitely recommend having some type of counseling, therapy, a really awesome best friend or two that can talk you through some things, because I think everyone deserves an opportunity to thrive and to operate in their best capacity. And I think that, if you're in a place where you just can't believe in yourself and your self-efficacy is a little bit low, I just want to challenge you to write out those thoughts and figure out, where are you going to just choose to start thinking differently and start looking and living differently? Who do you need to maybe silence the voices of in your life? Are your friends your friends? It's like starting to look at those things and starting to really vet out the people that are not really contributing positively to your love, your mental health, like your love tank. If they're draining more than they're putting in, those are some things that you want to consider as well. So with that said, it's imperative that we all believe in ourselves because we need each other. We need to be around. So don't waste your time on, remaining down and not believing in yourself. You got this. Now, number 2, it says make a plan and stick to it. So it says here, setting goals and sticking to a plan is a key part of developing resilience and grit. The next thing, take care of yourself. Okay. Embrace your failures. Huge. Be positive. Excellent. Okay. And then persevere. That's what it's all about. Perseverance. And it says resilience is not about giving up when things get tough, but it's about persevering until you reach your goal. So don't just give up because things are difficult. Keep pushing forward until you achieve your goal. That's excellent. So, and now it's talking about resilience and grit in the workplace, which is great. And I like that. It's teamwork, right? We're helping each other. And grit in the workplace. Developing resilience and grit is important for your career because it will help you thrive under pressure. When things get tough, you can be the one who can stay calm and push through. You'll be the one to pick yourself up after a setback and keep going. You'll be the one who can stay focused and motivated when everyone else around you is crumbling. And I'm going to say something right here. Here, it says you'll be the one who will stay focused and motivated when everyone else around you is crumbling. I want to take it to the next level, though. So, yeah, everyone else around you can be crumbling and you can be thriving. But if you're on a team and you're a leader on the team, I want to encourage you and say that it's not good enough just to be the only one thriving. It's a pet peeve of mine to be around certain people that are wonderful, but they can't help anyone else. It's annoying. So, if you're on a team and it's like, you're doing well. Say you're at the beach and you're building a sandcastle. Your side of the castle is absolutely wonderful. Everyone else's side of the castle is the grains of sand are falling apart. It's just not staying. They don't know how you got it to be stable. They're asking you questions and you're not of any help. That's not teamwork. Like that's just being someone that, works solely by themselves. And I think that's less of what we need in the workplace and in education. We need more collaboration and we need more advocacy and agency of change where we're all coming together to work together. We share ideas. We help support each other. We help others. We build up others. It's not like an I show, but it's a we effort. We're doing this together. And I also want to say we don't do this to bully others and to, abuse others while we're being successful. If you are thriving and doing great, but you feel that you have to pull others down to get into certain opportunities or to thrive as an educator, whatever, I want to highly recommend that you journal out the root causes of what is causing that and why you would feel either inadequate or feel that you have to do something like that, and why you cannot work with others. Because yes, you might be absolutely fabulous, but you do not have to do detrimental acts, right, in order to be successful. And we would say the same thing to our students. If students are working on a project or something, and we see students are bullying another student or students are leaving students out or whatever, we would check that quickly. We would say, hey, what's going on? Like, that's not ethical. Like, we don't do that. It's not morally sound. Like, you're better than that. and we'll remind them of proper etiquette. We remind them of our norms. We remind them of our expectations of having that mutual respect for each other. And I think that, as adults, we should continue to lead in that sphere of influence for the better, so that whenever you're, speaking about, the wonderful colleagues that you're working with, or you can reference someone, that it should be uplifting. It should be something that is supportive, especially when we realize there's so much work to be done. There's such a demand. So with that said, continue to believe in yourself, continue to build, but also remember, have others around you that you're also helping to build. Because I just think that's so key in this day and age that we're in. So with that said, let's continue to move forward in this article. So now they're talking to us about using the power of failure to build resilience and grit. So maybe you're in a situation where you've made some moves and you didn't get the outcome that you wanted, because that's usually what failure is, right? So it says, yes, failure sucks, but it's a powerful teacher. So when you experience a setback at work, it can be tough to stay motivated. It's easy to feel that you're not good enough, or, that you're not cut out for this career thing after all. So here's some tips. Don't give up after the first failure. Keep going until you succeed. Then it says here, reflect on what went wrong and learn from your mistakes. Find a mentor or role model who embodies these qualities and learn from them. And stay positive when things are tough. Now, be careful when you're finding a mentor or role model. Not everybody is a mentor or role model for you. Find someone that loves you, that supports you, that advocates for you. Not just someone that is competent in your field, but someone that really wants you to win. All right, now let's keep going. Examples of using resilience and grit on the job. Perfect. It says here are a few ideas. You can take on extra challenges. I would say do this with balance. Make sure that you first mastered the basics of what you're having to do before you do that, right? And then it says look for opportunities to take on extra projects or tasks that will push you outside of your comfort zone. I'm going to skip down to the last one here. It says, ask for help. It says reaching out to mentors, supervisors, or peers is one of the ways to stay resilient. There's no shame in asking for advice or help when tasks show that you're willing to do what it takes to succeed. So yeah, asking for help is key. And so then now it's talking about resilience and grit in children. So after you've built yourself up, now you can look at the babies, right? So it says, why are resilience and grit so important for kids? Because they teach kids how to cope with setbacks and failures. And that's the key. We're teaching children how to cope with setbacks and failures. So it says everyone faces setbacks in life, but it's how you deal with them that determines your success, right? And then it says they help kids to learn how to pick themselves up after they fall and keep going. It teaches them how to persist through tough challenges and to never give up. And that's the key as to why we are teaching perseverance, and why we're teaching self-efficacy, grit, having positivity, optimism, growth mindset, all these different terminologies that we're throwing in the bunch for grit, because it's imperative when you're trying to help children that have gone through some type of trauma to really learn how to bounce back as well. So I also wanted to share with you another. So it talks about forgiveness and letting go of grudges and bitterness. And so it says forgiveness. This is something that's going to help you as you're overcoming trauma, because in order to move forward, you're going to have to learn how to release that, right? And to forgive. So let's see, what did they say to us? So it says, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness means different things to different people, but in general, it involves an intentional decision to let go of resentment and anger. And sometimes you don't even know why you have resentment and anger, but just know that it's not good for you. It really is something that we all have to decide to be bigger than and to release, right? So it says the act that hurt or offended you always, or it might always be with you. So again, the act that hurt or offended you, it might always be with you. But working on forgiveness can lessen that act's grip on you. And that's, look at that. It can lessen that act's grip on you. So unfortunately, it's letting you know that something has a grip on you, something, it has power over you in a particular area. So it says it can help you free from the control of the person that harmed you, right? But that's what they're talking about with forgiveness. It says sometimes forgiveness might even lead to feelings of understanding, empathy, and compassion for the one who hurt you. And that is where you're really starting to forgive, when you really start to empathize and say, okay, it might not have been a direct attack, something else, like there might have been an underlying cause, something bigger than me that was at the table before I even arrived. And that's why this person did that to me, right? And so it says, what are the benefits of forgiving someone? So the benefits, letting go of grudges and bitterness can make way for improved health and peace of mind. And it says forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships, improved mental health, less anxiety, stress, and hostility, fewer symptoms of depression, low blood pressure, a stronger immune system, improved heart health, and improved self-esteem. I think we all want that. So, and then it says, why is it so easy to hold a grudge? Right? For those out there that this is your cup of tea, it says being hurt by someone, particularly someone you love and trust, can cause anger, sadness, and confusion. And it says if you dwell on hurtful events or situation, grudges filled with resentment and hostility can take root. If you now allow negative feelings to crowd out positive feelings, you might find yourself swallowed up by bitterness or a sense of injustice. Again, if you allow negative feelings to crowd out positive feelings, you might find yourself swallowed up by bitterness or a sense of injustice. And then it says, what are the effects of holding a grudge? So if you're holding a grudge, you're struggling to find forgiveness, you might bring bitter and angerness into new relationships and experiences. You might become so wrapped up in the wrong that you can't enjoy the present. You might become depressed, irritable, or anxious, feel at odds with your spiritual beliefs, and lose value at connecting with others. Right. So if you have some underlying bitterness or unforgiveness and I'm telling you this, it could be so petty and people just hold these ridiculous grudges. And it's sad because then you wind up losing valuable connections. And then it says, how do I move forward in a state of forgiveness? Forgiveness is a commitment to change. It takes practice. Recognize the value that forgiveness has and how it can improve your life. Identify what needs healing and who you want to forgive. Join a support group or seek a counselor. Acknowledge that your emotions about the harm that was done to you. Recognize that those emotions affect your behavior, to release them. And then choose to forgive the person that offended you. And then it says release the power and the control that the offending person and situation have had on your life. And, this is powerful when you're dealing with trauma, because unfortunately, trauma has imparted into you some type of negative situation that has caused you to have certain triggering moments whenever you either see a word, see a thing, see a person, see a color. Like there's all of these different things that has happened as a result of trauma. But through grit, you can overcome. And one of the tools and resources is also working on that element of forgiveness. And yes, just because you forgive doesn't always mean that you forget. However, you can still choose to be hopeful, look at the optimistic side of things, and looking at the positive side of the lens as you're continuing to thrive and move forward through grit. So with that said, I hope that you've learned different tactics that can help you about overcoming trauma through grit on the show. Thank you so much for joining me. Please check out my website whenever you get a chance, www.india-white.com for books, blogs, and to schedule me for your next speaking or coaching event. Feel free to follow me. My Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube is India White 123. And TikTok is Dr. India White. I will be seeing some of you guys soon at North Dakota. I'll be seeing you at FCTM. I'll be seeing you in camp. Looking forward to seeing you in NCSM and NCTM, also at ICTM and beyond. Thank you to those that have, put my name into your principal or to your school district leaders or whatnot, and the trainings that I have coming up throughout this nation. Thank you. And also, I wanted to remind you to check out, for whether it's your school or for yourself over the summer, the Grit Mini Workshop, which is titled How to Harness Grit to Help Students Thrive on the Grassroots Workshop website. So with that said, you guys have been absolutely fabulous as always. I hope you have had a wonderful, wonderful time with me. I've enjoyed this time with you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. So until then, stay gritty. See ya.